Say it
Sweet.
back.
We'll wait for the good to go from Lydia, or I think we can just go
We are
for
all
it.
set. We are all set from Lydia.
Um, we're all set.
We're all set.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Lydia, thank you so much for getting all set up. That was really seamless. And yeah, and everybody's lighting is looking super good, especially Curtis. So,
Thank you.
Especially
I was
Curtis.
very insecure about that, so I
can everybody hear
Curtis, you're
me?
always looking good. What are you talking about?
They're glowing.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, if everybody can hear me, then this is kind of just, I'm going to kick things off, introduce us a little bit. This is Music Industry Committee at UCLA, and we're really happy to have Curtis and Bailey here, kind of to give us a little bit of insight into their careers and what motivates them. And we're going to ask a lot of questions. We have Colby here to ask questions, and she has a lot of good stuff prepared. So we're really excited to have everybody here, and we're really just super grateful for them to take the time out of their night and sit down with us. This is our second office hours. Our first office hours was with this year with Corey Litwin, who manages Murder Beats, and that went really well and was pretty seamless. So now we have a new guest, Colby, here to ask questions, and she has a lot of good stuff prepared. But yeah, so without further ado, I think I'm going to hand it over to Colby, and I think she's going to get it all kind of jump started, and I'll take a back seat and let her take over. So thank you again.
Thanks, Thomas. You're the best. All right. So, hi, guys. I'm Colby. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Warner Music U representative for UCLA. It's literally the best program in the world because we get to put things together like this. And I'm so excited that we got to pair up with you guys. Everybody, UCLA Mike, and then also Bailey and Curtis, our wonderful guests of honor. So yeah, I think I would love to start it off if you guys want to introduce yourselves. Bailey and Curtis, give a little background on who you are. Obviously, we know you guys are both musicians, but if you just want to give us a little intro.
You go first.
Dang it, I was gonna tell you to go first. Hi, Bailey. You gotta come up with an intro for your stuffed animal too. I'm Bailey. I make sensitive bad bitch music. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, but I'm from Washington State. I've been more or less at least trying to be a part of the music industry since I was like 15. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about myself.
We're all good. That was perfect.
Guys, my name is Curtis Waters. I usually make also sensitive bad bitch music.
Okay, cool.
But I've made a few dumb songs also, and a fun dumb song. Sometimes, I made that song Stunning, and that blew up this year, which is cool, which I love. I have to specify, I don't hate that song, but it's just like a silly song.
I know exactly where you're coming from on that.
This is my audio engineer, Hilgard. He's the guy behind all the hits. So we appreciate Hilgard very much. And I'm in North Carolina living at my mom's house. But yeah, nice. You said where you live also, so I felt like I had to say that.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know why. It's kind of personal, but I feel like people always ask.
Yeah. Hey, well, we always want to know where we are, especially during quarantine. Yeah. Like, you never know where people are right now.
We're everywhere, for sure.
You can't just assume LA, New York, or Nashville anymore.
No.
Awesome. Well, as you guys both kind of said, you both kind of have that sensitive bad bitch vibe. So we thought you guys would be super well together. Goes into my first question. So you guys are also both huge mental health advocates. And you both kind of express that in your music, both through slightly different styles. So I guess we'll start with Curtis. Do you want to kind of describe your music style when it comes to incorporating mental health awareness and what you hope people will get out of your music when they listen to it?
Yeah, I don't think it's super intentional. I really just close my eyes and just say what I'm thinking about. And most days I'm, at least back then, I would just be like, man, I am so depressed today. I am so anxious. I don't know how to go to work and be a human being. And I don't know how to, be not the shame of the family and all this other kind of stuff. But I think the reason I feel comfortable putting it out there is because when I was 15 and I was going through it, the only people that gave me hope was people like Kanye or Tyler, the Creator, or whoever was open about what they're going through, right? And or even Kevin Abstract back then, and I would feel oh, if they're just as fucked up as me and they made it, I feel like I could do that too. And I feel like I'm just passing the torch in a way where I'm like, oh, I also go through all this shit. And now kids listen to me and they're like, wow, it's crazy that I feel the same way that you do and you're still able to do all the great things, you know? So I think that makes me feel like my job is important in a way. It's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's nice that you get to relate to people that much. And that like you said, you're really passing off the torch, which is amazing. All right, Bailey, I have the same question for you. Whenever
Okay.
you're-
I love that. My answer's pretty similar. I mean, I think it starts as like you're writing music kind of to survive when you struggle with mental health anyway, and you're a creative person. It's just like, I gotta make this, like I gotta turn this kind of shitty place I'm at in my head into something, just in order to like cope. Otherwise you feel like, wow, I feel this way and nothing good is coming from it. But I think once you start putting it into the universe, kind of like Curtis said, you see other people relating, and then you realize like, this is more important than just like me coping. Like this can show somebody else that like they can be in the same place that I've been, and it can turn out okay. And for me, where I'm at with my music currently, because I've always written as a way of kind of dealing with like my anxiety and some depression and all of that. But I've kind of come into a more confident place with my music lately, and it's important to me to even if I'm writing like the more like bad bitch side of the music, still like incorporate the sensitive stuff, like still admit, like if I'm writing a song that's like men ain't shit, I can still say like, but they do hurt my feelings sometimes because I do have feelings and I'm sensitive, and that's okay. But I'm also like still a bad bitch and I'm going to be fine. And I think it's important to kind of represent both sides of that all at once in one song, so nobody thinks like either you're confident or you're depressed. Like you can be depressed and still find confidence. Yeah.
I love that. I also love, for all of you guys that don't know her brand right now, the Sensitive Bad Bitch Club brand, you all need to be a part of this because I relate to it so freaking much and everything you just said. So it was even like I got my nails done the other day and I was like sensitive. I was like, you got to have the vibe. Like you got to have that sensitive bad bitch vibe.
If you need a little bit more bad bitch, it's always good to get your nails done.
Exactly.
I highly recommend.
I think it definitely is relatable to a lot of people, especially I think a lot of teen girls right now. So I love that. Thank you. So actually, I guess going right off of that, do you want to, what like inspired this era of music? What inspired the SBB Club?
The SBB Club, I think it was just like me. I mean, I went through a big ass breakup. I like for the first time kind of like made a decision to like leave a relationship that was really bringing me down, and I realized that I was okay, and that was a major confidence boost for me, as simple as that seems. I'm very much the kind of person who like will cling to something even if it's not necessarily the most healthy thing for me, just so that I can say like I tried. Like I tried till the very end. Like nobody can say this is my fault because I tried and it killed me and I feel shitty, but I tried. And this was like the first time I didn't do that. And it brought kind of like an air of confidence and shifted my perspective on the way that I look at like relationships in general, and just like setting standards for myself for how I let anybody treat me. And so that's where like the kind of bad bitch vibes came into my music and my brand for really the first time. Like I allowed myself to feel that way about myself, because I used to kind of think that because I'm sensitive and I love really hard and I am an anxious, out of control empath of a person, like I can't be a bad bitch. Those things don't align. And so I wanted to make music that showed people that like, even if you are all of those things, you can still be a bad bitch. Just look at me. You know, that's where that came from.
I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
It's, I think, for next, I have a next question for Curtis, because you also recently had a release of your new album, Pity Party, which again, if you all haven't listened to that, you need to listen to it. It's a bop. You've probably heard a bunch of his songs blow up on TikTok. So I guess, do you want to tell us a little bit how you went about creating that album? I know you touched a little bit, but.
Yeah, I mean, so what happened was I was studying in UNCG college. You know, it was just like I got diagnosed as bipolar. I dropped out of college. I went home. I was like, oh my God, I hate my life. I'm a piece of shit. My family hates me. I'm gonna die. Whatever, the casual classic story. And I just felt like I was just documenting everything. I was documenting why I am the way I am. I documented, like, I wrote about, like, being like a brown kid and being ashamed of my skin and being, just, it's a lot to unpack in this very fun little chat here. So I'm not going to get into it. Every traumatic thing that happened to me, I wrote down, and I felt like, so much shit has happened to me that's impacted me emotionally. It would be a waste if I didn't make something positive out of it. And I felt like so much like fire in me. I was like, oh my God, bro. Like, so much bad shit has happened just this year. Like, I was in a mental hospital. I should write about this. Like, this is a great story. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like opportunistic or whatever, but you have to take every fucked up thing that happens to you and make something amazing out of it, So in a way, I was like working a like shitty minimum wage job every day. And I was coming home and I was just writing everything. I was just recording every day. Cause I was like, one day someone's going to hear this and it's going to like change my life. You know what I mean? And it really did. So I honestly like, life is so hard, but there's no better energy than when you feel like life has fucked you over. You know what I mean? I love getting broken up with, kind of. Like, a part of me loves like heartbreak, because I'm like, hold up, you are not about to like, I'm about to flex on you. Like, I'm about to make the greatest song about you, about how you broke my heart, and I want to be a millionaire, and you're gonna be like, damn, like, like, that's how I think. And like, I know I'm going off right now because my brother just got his heart broken, and I just did this pep talk for like 3 hours. But I was telling him, bro, like, life is gonna fuck you up, and life is so tragic, but it's good. Like, you got to use that shit. Like, as long as you survive and you're mentally healthy enough to use it, like, that's like the best fuel you'll ever have. Like, that shit is awesome. So yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that, dude. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to hear you say that. Like, every time something bad happens in my life, I need to have you like in the back of my, like,
write down everything you're feeling. Anytime I'm like going through a miserable situation, I write it down and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad right now. I'm like about to cry, but I know in like a week when I'm feeling better and I need to like make a great song, I'll read this and I'll feel so inspired. Like, write down everything. And even if you don't make music, really good idea to journal everything, track your moods, all that kind of stuff. But if you're struggling with mental health, write everything down. Good idea for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's also really great advice for all of our songwriters that are in this webinar right now, is like, you can build probably so much off. I'm not a good songwriter, but I'm sure you could build incredible amounts of stuff off it, and you clearly have. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah.
All right. So I am curious to know how you guys combat the judgment that's kind of unfortunately like inevitable in the music scene. So like, how you combat it, how you cope with it, along with writing it down, as you've said.
Sometimes I don't, is the truth. I don't always cope very well with that. Man, how do you cope with the judgment? I think it's just a lot of people say this. It's like that one negative comment outshines like 20 positive ones. And I think I try my best to keep that in the front of my mind whenever I see a comment that gets to me or face some kind of rejection within the industry. Like, when you see the no's or you see the negative comment, like, think, okay, how many yeses am I ignoring right now? How many compliments am I ignoring right now? Because this one person who doesn't know me said something. If I can keep that in the forefront of my mind, like, I'm doing okay. Because with art, like, and really any part of the music industry, because there's no rules. You have to make your own way and kind of get ahead of everything in order to get anywhere. Like, it's also subjective that you can't take anything too personally. Like, there are artists that are so huge and famous and some people hate their music. So I just try and remember that whenever I get any kind of judgment.
That shit hurts. Like I thought it would get better, but I don't know. Like it still hurts me, you know. Like I might work all night on a song and I think it's amazing and I'll post it and people will be like, dude, it's not as good as Stunning though. I'm like, bro, come on, why would you? Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You know, am I allowed to swear? I'm allowed to swear, right? You guys are old people.
So
Okay, cool.
we're all here.
You guys are
Yeah,
grown
you're totally
up.
fine.
Okay. It hurts, but I also think like most of the shit I like, most people don't like anyway. You know what I mean? Like I grew up like, I don't know, like the shit on this wall, like I wouldn't play for my mom. Okay, like whatever. Like I don't know, there's random stuff here. But you know, it just depends on taste. Like there's nothing you make that everybody will like. So it doesn't even matter if, as long as you like it and you listen to it 24 hours a day and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. You did it. And I'll guarantee you there's going to be an audience for that because there's an audience for anything. Like you could sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks over like distorted bass or whatever. And that's like my favorite shit ever. You know
That
what I
would
mean?
be fire.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. You could be anything. You could be just like a pathetic virgin nerdy guy whining about how you don't get laid. And I'll promise you like a million other dudes will listen to you. So it really like, I don't think you should worry about mass appeal. Just make sure you like it because there's like so many other people just like you that will like it. So just make sure you like it first, you know? I think it'll work out eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Has it ever gotten to a point where you have like thought about like changing professions or anything and like what kind of kept you in? Or have you guys always been like very music is the only route?
I don't feel qualified to do any other profession.
Yeah.
I feel like God made me and he said, you get one thing. You better make it work. I'm giving you one talent. So I don't think I've never really thought about doing anything else. It was just always kind of like, this is my best thing. This is the best thing I have to offer the world. Like, I'm going to make it work in some way. I've thought about like, if I didn't get to be like a performer, a straight up artist, I would probably just try and be a writer. If they said I can't write, I can't sing, I can't do anything on stage, maybe I'd be a painter. I don't know. It would have to be something creative, but I've just always I think it's helped me to look at music as the one and only option.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like, you know, I got like immigrant parents, so I couldn't really say that, you know, so for
Not everybody can.
Yeah. So for so many years, I'd be like, yeah, mom, I'm going to school for like psychology. I'm going to school for media studies. And then you switch next semester. I'm in business now, mom, trust me. Then you switch to IT. But like in your head every night, you're like, oh, I'm making music. You know what I mean? But I mean, even this last summer when music wasn't really working out, even though I'm the same guy, I was like, oh, maybe I should switch to IT or whatever. Random thing. I just heard it makes a lot of money. So I was like considering it. But like deep down, I've known since I was 14, like, bro, I cannot do anything. Cause like, I even have a line where I'm like, yo, I love music so much that it's a curse. Cause for so many years, I couldn't do anything but that, you know, like I wish I didn't, like when it wasn't working out, I wished I didn't care about music so much so I could just do something that actually made sense. Cause I feel like being a musician is not like the most sensible thing to do. No. You know, it's so risky. It's so random, might work out, might not work out, but it might work out. And you love it. And the main thing is like, I loved it so much, you know? So, I mean, I've thought about it, but now that I feel like I can, you know, fund myself through music, I would not think of another thing. Like all I can think about is just like make music, be the best musician. You have this opportunity, like go, you know? But also I know I'm ranting, but even before when I was in college and I was doing all this, I had a job and I was in college and I was doing all this, I was still treating it like music was my main job. Like I spent all night researching, like, how do I market my songs on TikTok? How do I get good at Twitter? Like, how did Lil Nas blow up? How did this song blow up? Why did this song blow up? And I would, you know, it seems like, you know, you can't just sit around and wait for it to work out. You know, like you really have to do the research and you can't just make a good song either. I think now you have to really like know how the internet works. So, you know, if you're gonna do music, figure it out, you know, like don't like sleep, like have some sleepless nights and like really figure that shit out and you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you both are testaments to that. Like you both literally proved that like it's not just a side hustle if you're in college, you know, it has to be like your full thing. Like if you give it all, it'll work out just like it did for both of you guys. So I think you guys are both amazing examples of that, which is awesome. All right, my next question for you guys. Oh wait, I totally just lost my place in these questions. Hang on. My screen just froze.
You're good. Oh God.
Okay, cool. Now it's working. Okay. So how do you guys manage to stay true to your brand and like kind of what you embody when the media is like consistently trying to get artists to conform to the latest trends?
Well, for me, I mean, my kind of, I don't know about, I feel like this is what I'm about to say is too long to be a mantra. My
We love to hear it. Don't worry.
My mindset that I kind of try and share with my team all the time is like, because people, I said this before, like in the music industry, everybody tries to make you feel like there's a rule and there's a formula that you have to follow, and you have to do whatever worked for the last person that blew up. Like, okay, they did that, now we have to do that. But the people that break through are the people who did something no one else was doing. They're the people who did something first. So, I mean, like, if I identify with like a trend, if it fits me, whether it's like media or musical production or whatever, like I'll incorporate it. Like that's fine. But I don't personally like try and do the opposite of whatever's popular, but you don't have to do every single thing that people say, like, well, this works for them, you have to do it. Like you have to constantly be thinking about like, okay, but what is nobody else doing that feels authentic to me that I can use to push myself forward? Like what do I have that nobody else is doing right now? I think that's the most useful thing. So you can't get too caught up in the fake rules. I don't know.
For me, it's like I make like a song a day almost, because I produce myself and I engineer myself. So I'm literally making songs every day. So someday I might make like a folk song that like I don't think people would really like, but I love it. You know what I mean? Someday I might do this. But when it comes to release, I kind of think like, oh, there are certain aspects about this that I really love. Like I love this effect I use. I love this that I use. And there's certain things that I feel like other people would also like my mom likes how it sounds. You know what I mean? So when it comes to a release, I'm kind of like, I do like a testing thing where I'll bring like my fucking edgy, pretentious 15-year-old brother, and I'll get him to like listen to it, and he'll be like, oh, I don't like this. I'll be like, of course not, because you're fucking 15 and pretentious. And I'll get like my girlfriend who only listens to Harry Styles, and she'll be like, oh, I like that. You know what I mean? So I always think there's like, if you do care about validity and you do care about the feedback and whatever, and you do want to have something popular, there's like a certain balance to have had where it's like, oh, this is very unique to me that nobody else can do. And this is something that's like digestible by the mainstream also. You know what I mean? I feel like I think of that kind of subconsciously too, where yeah, there are things that I'm like are very Curtis, and there are things that are like, oh, I know why this would blow up, I guess, maybe, you know. Also, you never know. You never really know. Make what you like. Who the fuck am I? Make what you like. Fuck what I said. Make
That's
exactly.
how I feel after I say everything. I'm like, this is but I agree with that though. It's such a balance between like I think it's good to pay attention to what's popular.
It is.
At least to be aware of it, because then I think subconsciously the parts of it that you do identify with become a part of what you're creating in like an authentic way.
And also, you could try to copy something popular, and whether you mean to or not, you're going to put yourself in there too. It's never going to sound the same. Like I could set out to be like, oh, I'm going to make a Blink 182 song. Regardless of whether I win or not, it's going to sound like a Curtis Waters song inspired by Blink 182. So, you know, like you're going to add your flair to it, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like always trying to find what your flair is almost.
Don't fight your flair.
I love that.
Slogan. There you go.
I just slogan on the wall, guys, right there. It's going on this wall. Okay, also I'm kind of curious, Chris, did you teach yourself how to do all of that? You said you produced how did you do that? Just like YouTube? You just
like
any like formal instruction at all, or did you just
I hate like being told what to do. Like I'm so annoying. I wish I could sit down and take guitar lessons or piano lessons or anything. Like as soon as a teacher tells me something to do, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But Like I just, when I was a kid, I just downloaded software and I just was like, oh, I like this beat by A$AP Rocky. I'm gonna try to recreate it. You know what I mean? And like I bought a guitar and I was like, oh, I love this Blink-182 I'm gonna Blink-182 song. I'm gonna play it. So you learn enough stuff where it becomes your own style. But honestly, I don't really think you need anything. You just need YouTube, bro. Like there's so much shit on YouTube. I've learned how to like Stunning. I made the beat and I actually co-produced the beat, but I recorded it in this room. I mixed it. We had it out. Like it was huge and there was no professional anything on that. It was just like a dude in his room. You know what I mean? So I don't think you need to really, like, you can figure it out for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Bailey, you also write all of your music too, right? Did you like anything like inspire that, or is that just come naturally to you?
I mean, when I first started writing music, which I don't even know when that was, it's just like always been like a thing that I do. I didn't know that it was even an option to not write your own music. Like I was 10 years old thinking that like all the artists I heard on the radio, like they wrote those songs. Like they have to, like these words are from their brain. If they're singing, they must have written it. So it kind of just was always like a part of my musical dream. And I just kind of always did it. And then, when I got further into like doing music as a career, I learned about the whole world of like songwriting and co-writing and ghostwriting and people writing for other people and how artists get songs pitched to them. And I was having songs pitched to me, which like now I know like that's normal and that's cool. Not for me though. When that first started happening to me, I was like, do these people think I can't write my own music? What is going on? When really like it's cool if someone wants you to sing their song. That's great. Don't be offended. But I did it just that like it's so personal what I write. I feel like such a like asshole being like everything I write is so personal. But it is. I'm a little bit like Curtis in the way that if somebody like tells me like here's how you should say this, I'm like, that's not that's how you would say it. This is how I say it. Like I'm just a little bit too prideful about my artistry to not have the words come out of my brain, I guess.
Well, it is your art, so you get to decide that 100%.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like if you don't want anybody else giving you a song, then like shit, you'll write it yourself. Like
and I found for me like if I'm not totally into something that I'm doing, because like while I've never cut a song that somebody else wrote, like I've tried to write songs that sound like what I think other people are going to want to hear. And there's song like I go back and I listen a year later, I'm like, that was a good song. Like that could have done well, but I didn't like it. So like my heart wasn't really in it. I was just doing it because other people told me it was a good idea, and it just doesn't work. So someone could send me a hit song, like, but if it doesn't feel like me and I don't really want to do it, like it just doesn't work for me. It's just not. I think people can feel when something's like not authentic to you and they don't gravitate towards it as much.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta stay true to yourself all the time. I totally respect that. Speaking of writing music and producing music, how has the pandemic changed all of that and doing everything from home? Do you think it's impacted you, or do you think it'll kind of impact the way the industry goes or moves in the future?
It's like not anything different for me. Like it's always been like in my room. You know what I mean? Like it was always like, oh my, like I don't know. I don't even back then I didn't even really even do shows or anything. You know what I mean? Like it was always just like make a quick song, upload it, do a little trailer, make a quick song, upload it, do a little promotion, whatever bullshit. You know what I mean? Just do it every week. So I think it's making people more self-sufficient, maybe. Hopefully. That's what I think. What do you think, Bailey?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm one of the people that it's made more self-sufficient for sure. I've always, like, as far as like doing stuff on the internet and promoting my music, been pretty like hands-on and self-sufficient with it, but I don't know shit about the technical side of production. I've always just kind of had a really small group of people in Nashville who I go to for all the stuff that I want to do, and I bring them my ideas and we work on it together. And I produce from the idea side, but do not put Pro Tools is photos, fucking Logic in front of me because I'm not gonna know what to do with it. So I was getting ready to like release a bunch of music when the world went into lockdown and this pandemic hit and everything changed. And my whole team and I kind of had to pivot and just figure out like, okay, we need to do everything we possibly can from home. And if I'm going into the studio, I'm going in, me and another person who's in another room controlling the computer. And then I'm making all of my edits by myself from home. And I'm recording music videos on an iPhone at home. And it's been cool. It's giving me a lot more confidence in my ability to create content and really be the driving force of every single aspect of my music and the way that I release it. So
have you done any Zoom sessions?
Hella Zoom sessions. Yeah.
Zoom sessions. Yeah.
I don't like them very much because I'm so used to like sitting in a room with one other person. And like the way I usually write is like, I'll just go in with a producer that I like and I'll say like, I want to make a song that sounds like this. And they'll start working on like a vibe of a track. And then it'll be just like me mumbling to myself in the corner of the room for like an hour before I say anything. And then I'll get on the mic and then I'll like sing the song. And you can't really do that via Zoom. You have to like communicate about what you're writing the whole time. So yeah, that's been another adjustment for me too, because I have to like talk people through the ideas in my head before I sing them. You can't just sit there on Zoom and not say anything for an hour.
Yeah, it's like the one thing that really stinks about Zoom is you literally don't have any sort of physical signs besides like whatever you're showing on your face.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it's harder to vibe for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I bet. So is that like vibe, would you say that's one of your like favorite parts about your career? And like, if not, what would you say is your favorite part?
For me, my favorite part's writing for sure in any capacity. Like definitely just going into the studio and either I'm playing my guitar or somebody's playing a track that I really like and just like freestyling words out of my mouth till suddenly it's a song. If I could pick one part of the career to do, always it would be that for sure.
That's
I
dope.
think mine is like when I finish a song and then I listen to nothing but that song for like 3 days straight. And then on the fourth day, I'll throw up and I'll be like, oh, that shit is gross. Like I hate it now because I listen to it so much. And then I just do the same thing again. Then I'll make a new song and I'll be like, this is the best song ever. This is my favorite song ever. And then on the fourth day, I'll throw up again because I listened to it too much. That's my favorite.
Dude, I do the same thing when I make a song. Yeah. And it's so hard if I'm talking to someone and if I'm like in a really big like writing season and they're like, so what have you been listening to lately? Like who are your favorite artists right now? And I'm like,
by me. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't listened to anybody, like anything but that one song I wrote last week for
my girlfriend hates me. Like we'll drive anywhere and we'll literally play the same song over and over and over. I'm like, I gotta fix the mix on this. I gotta fix the audio on this. And she's like, you've heard this like 20 times.
Yeah. I do the same thing. And then whenever I go to play anybody else, my like demo for the first time, like whatever I just wrote, I'll have to like preface it with a 20-minute speech how it's not done. The mix is gonna be shitty. You might not know why you don't like it, but you're probably not gonna like it because like there's no bass in it yet.
You know it's a banger deep down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know it will be there. Even if it's like you don't know yet, like it will be there.
Yeah.
I freaking love that. I also love that you both do that.
Like, I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing when you're like a writer person.
Oh yeah. It seems like it. Yeah, now you're making me want to like get in the car and like start blasting all of your guys' stuff.
Right. I'll send you my demos. You can tell me if they're good.
I would love that. Send me anything you want.
Perfect. You'll contest for us.
I got you always. So now you said your favorite thing. What would be one thing that you would change about the industry? And either one of you guys can start.
Curtis,
there's just so much more than just music. Like making music is honestly like 30%. Maybe I'm being generous. Maybe not even 30%. Like, there's just so much more to it, and it's fine. And you have to just accept the fact that there's so much more to being a musician than just making music. And the easier you get over that hurdle, and the easier you start playing that game, and you're like, oh, I'm a brand. Oh, I gotta do interviews. Oh, I gotta do this. You know, some people really do like it, but for me, it's kind of like, I love making music. Everything else is just something I'm going to get good at so I can keep making music, you know? But for me, it's like, sometimes I do fantasize. I'm like, man, I wish I could just go live in like a cabin with my girlfriend and we just play like fucking like Phoebe Bridgers songs all day and nobody has to know me and I don't have to turn on my phone and I just love music, you know. But you might be broke if you do that, you know, like, you know,
You
like,
won't be in a cabin, you'll be in a tent.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, okay, you got to have Instagram, you got to be funny. And it's like, fine, it's fine. That's not the worst thing in the world, but there's just a lot more to it, you know, and you got to figure out how to like make shit pop off and stuff like that sometimes. But
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I would say pretty much the exact same thing. There are times when like I enjoy the creative parts of figuring out how to like market my shit and be present on social media. There's some days when it's really fun, and then there's other days where it's so draining and so like I hate that I have to
especially
essentially
if you have mental health issues and you like, don't perceive me, I want to be invisible, I am a ghost. Like when you're like
don't perceive me.
Yeah, like when you're like literally like, I don't want to be seen by anyone, but you're like, oh fuck, like I have like 70,000 followers, like, which is not even like, I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
If you're having a mental health day, that shit is like terrifying, bro. And it's just the internet, but that shit can fuck you up.
It's like, please listen to my music. I do not exist.
Yeah,
it's just songs in the world. Don't worry about me. Oh, I
Yeah.
have days like that all the time, but it's like you have to essentially kind of turn yourself into a product in order to get people to listen to your music. And that's like the scummiest way of saying it, but that's like that's kind of what it is. And for me, like I try my hardest to remain like a multi-dimensional real human being in the way that I present myself in my brand or as an artist. Like I found like, especially when I was younger and I was like in the country music space and I was meeting with record labels and people, they ask you right away, they're like, what's your brand? What's your shtick? Like, what's your one thing that people are going to identify you for? You have to kind of dumb yourself down to something really digestible and really simple and really easy for people to like latch on to, the same way that like people want radio hooks on songs to be really simple and really catchy and repetitive. They want you to kind of do that with the way that you present yourself.
It fucks you up if like your humanity and your commodity is blurred. Like you ever have a moment of self-awareness where like, oh my God, I'm a product. Oh my God, I'm like marketing right now. Oh my God, like I am a fucking fraud. Like, you know, and it's, some days it's easy. Some days you're like, I'm marketing my song. This is fun. Listen to my songs. Yay. And some days you'll have like an existential crisis about it because you're like, oh my God, I am a fucking commodity. This is
weird. True. Yeah. It's like, people will ask you, they'll ask you about yourself. So then like they can figure out how to like sell the parts of you that are like sellable. It's very interesting. It's like, you need to be authentic so that people will like what you have, but then it's hard to be authentic for people.
Bro, like that's kind of fucked up.
It's not authentic anymore if you sell it. That's the hardest part for me.
It's such a weird fucking thing.
Realness and mental health and confidence are all like very like profitable, popular things now. But I feel like once you turn it into that, like once you try and sell it, then it loses a little bit of its authenticity. And just so I think probably for both of us as artists, that's the hard part to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I think, now that we've finally gotten to the real problem, like that's definitely the real issue. Like,
we worked it out.
Selling your authenticity, like when you
put it there. There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah.
I love it. We got there. We got there together. We love that.
Yep.
So I guess I'm only gonna ask a few more questions because I want to offer it up to everybody else to do a little Q&A because I know a ton of people have questions for you guys. But kind of going off of that, how did you both get to that point where you're so like open and kind of confident with yourself to where you're willing to share your story and willing to share your truth with so many people? Because I know like Bailey, you now have like this super sexy, powerful vibe. And like Curtis, I literally have a quote from an interview you did saying like Waters doesn't shy away from the ugliest side of his coming of age story. And so I always feel like both of you guys are just really true to yourself and really have, as you said, really have embraced that side of the industry and like how rough it can be. But how did you get to that place where you were kind of okay with it? I know that was a long question. I apologize.
I got you. For me, I don't feel like I've like arrived anywhere necessarily. I'm so happy that my shit comes across with like a confident, sexy vibe. That's the best part to me that I want people to feel all the time. But I think the way that you get to any kind of place like that is just by owning where you're at in the process, because it's a process. I'm still not phone. I'm still not like confident all the time. Like it's really something that I struggle with, and I think that just being open about that, and confidently saying like, hey, I'm not here yet either, but I'm still out here. Like I'm still going to be open, and I'm still going to present the parts of myself that I love along with the kind of rough stuff too. I think that, I don't know, that's the only way to do it. Does that make any sense? That didn't come around to anywhere that I wanted it to.
That made
For me,
sense.
it's like I've never been about like portraying perfection. You know, you can go back to me when I was 14 and you can find my first shitty song I made, and I like it like that because it's like I want to show people like you don't get there overnight. And even now, like I might have like a hit song or whatever, I still feel like, yo, my music sucks sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't shy away from posting about it. I don't shy away from posting about like when I'm having like an anxious day in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, I will never be able to do anything. Or when I'm having an amazing day and I'm like, my life is amazing. Because the thing is like, that's what makes us human. And, you know, like, I don't think one works without the other. And I just feel, even for me personally, like I like looking back on shit all the time. Like last birthday, I wrote, I don't know what's going to happen this year, but I think something good might finally happen to me in my life. And I looked at it this birthday and I was like, oh my God, I was so right. It's just kind of like journaling for me. And I look at my music like just an online journal, you know, like I like being able to see everything. I like being able to see the growth. So I don't think you should wait around for perfection or anything, you know. I think show people your progress. That's what I think, at least.
I love that. That's amazing. All right, I am going to ask one more question, but before I do, I want to let everybody know that's in the chat, if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll call on you guys right when they're done answering this next question for you guys to ask anything that you might have. So ending on a happy note for me, what is the proudest moment that you've had in your career so far? We can give you a minute to think about that one. I know that's probably hard because you guys are very successful.
No, I paid off my parents' college loans.
Oh,
I love that.
Crazy. Yeah.
I love that. I haven't done anything like that yet. We're getting there.
We'll get there.
We're on our way. Yeah. That was more motivation for me. Right now I'm really proud of as simple as it sounds, like releasing music in quarantine, like releasing music in 2020 and like kind of launching a new brand for myself. Like been fighting through a lot of the anxiety and the depression and the lack of motivation in the last year, and just to put something out into the world that like I like and that people are responding and relating to just feels like a victory right now. So that's what I'm proud of.
Bro, existing is a victory, bro. Life is fucking hard. Like just you got out of bed and you brush your teeth. Like that's amazing. That's, you know, it's like small steps for sure. Like
100%.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, if you can make your bed in the morning, I feel like you've accomplished something for the day.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Just slow down there, okay?
Sorry, I'm overstepping. I'm saying that my bed is totally not made behind me. Like
that makes me feel better.
Amazing. I love that, guys. Well, thank you for everything you guys have said so far. I'm gonna open it up to a few more people to let them ask you their questions. All right, so we're gonna start with Natalie. I'm gonna unmute you. I think I can do that.
Where are you? Where are you? I don't see you.
Right.
I'm on my phone. I have to like scroll
Can't
to
see anyone,
see
you just
people.
Natalie, I think I unmuted you.
Hi. So
Hi.
thank you guys so much for speaking. My question is actually for Curtis, and I wanted to ask, how did you choose your name, Curtis Waters?
Okay, there's like a few different answers, so it might sound kind of old. I'm gonna try to speed it up. So when I was like 16, I would make like really ignorant, horrible, like just stupid music, and I thought it'd be funny to be like a skinny brown kid named Curtis Waters because I was like, this is an old white man's name. But I also came to that conclusion because I love Ian Curtis from Joy Division and I love Frank Ocean, and Ocean turns into Waters. So it was like a smart name, but also like a dumb prank. Yeah.
Wow, that was a lot more deep than I thought it would be. So
Yeah.
like, I love that though. Thank you so much for answering.
You're welcome.
Love that. All right. I'm gonna say your name wrong. I'm so sorry. Alita. If I said your name wrong, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's Alilta. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you guys so much. My question is for both of you. And in the beginning, you both said that you drew from like trauma and heartache in your music. And I'm a singer and I can do a mean cover and I also keep a journal.
Hey.
But I can't seem to like marry those two things because the like thought of putting like my private or not so happy thoughts out there is really scary. So what like gave you guys the courage to be vulnerable with like everybody?
I would say the thing that gives me the courage to like put that kind of stuff on paper into a song would be like doing my best to not think about putting it out there when I'm making it. Like that step in the process it doesn't even need to be a factor in the creative process. You can cross that bridge when you come to it. When you're drawing from things you've been through in order to create something, like just think about like what you need to hear. Like what do you want to listen back to in the speakers when you're done writing the song or whatever. That's my main thing that I do. I always get tripped up. I can't write for shit when I start thinking about like people might hear this or what are people going to want to hear. Like those are my worst songs. And sometimes you need to write the shitty songs too, and that also trips me up. Like this might suck. Why am I even writing this? Well, you have to write the thing that sucks so that you can write the thing that's great next.
Really good tips.
So yeah, I just try not to think about those things. Easier said than done. But yeah.
For me, I mean, I totally agree with what she said, but also I like made up a character. Like I was like, my name's not Kurt. You can see by looking at me. Actually, there's brown guys with white names too. But you know, I like in the beginning I drew like a comic book character and I was like, this is Curtis Waters. And I would say all my I would talk about like wanting to kill myself and all this crazy shit. And I would be like, that's not me. That's Curtis Waters, the cartoon character, and he's having a bad day. You know what I mean? Like obviously that's me, but and she's so right. Like you can't think about the release. You can't. When I write music, I actually don't think at all. I close my eyes, I put on autotune, and I'm just like, I want to die. Like whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I'm really like just writing like, I forgot your birthday. I'm so sorry. Like whatever. It's so simple, but for me, it's just like cathartic. You know what I mean? Don't think too much about it. Maybe make up a fake character. Also, the best music is like the authentic stuff for sure. You know what I mean? And you're gonna be able to help someone so much if you just put it out there. I feel like, you know, I like the lyrics I've been most embarrassed and cringed at because they're being too honest are the ones where the kids will like respond to me and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you feel exactly the way I feel. Like this is crazy, you know? So it's gonna help people out and it's gonna help you out when you put it out there. So yeah. Quiet.
Thank you guys for sharing that. Sorry,
I have like a Zoom face like after I say something and I'm done talking where it's just like, so yeah.
I literally look around and I know no one can talk, but I'm like
hello. I'm just like, I'm just gonna smile till someone says something.
I left you guys on pause a little bit too long there. I'm always that like awkward person that never can get to the button in time, and they're like, no, they're thinking I hate
I don't know where the buttons are. It's cool.
Yeah. That's why I don't know like why I'm in charge of too many buttons right now. Let me just say that.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Denzel, you're next.
Hi. First of all, thank you guys so much for coming out. It means a lot that you're speaking with us today. And happy belated birthday, Curtis. My question is, it's kind of like a lighthearted question. So apart from stuff that you've made, what would you say your favorite song is?
Oh, good question.
Like all time or right now or like I don't think you're gonna clarify, so I guess I'll talk. My favorite song of all time is probably Paranoid by Kanye West. I love that song because it's like such a good level of emotional like catharsis because it's like so emotional, but it's also like you can dance and you can go crazy with it. And I think my favorite music stuff happening right now is like 100 Gex and all the hyper pop stuff happening and just crazy bullshit. So that's definitely my favorite thing happening right now. What about you, Bailey?
I was gonna say one of my all-time favorites is "All Falls Down" by Kanye.
That's a good one.
For sure. Kanye's his deep cuts are some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
I think for me is because that was it's like a bop, like oh God, my phone's about to die. This needs to stop happening. I need to plug it in. But it's like you can like shut your brain off and just vibe with the song if you want to, but you can also listen and hear a story. And part of the reason I wanted to like live in Nashville to do music is because of like obviously with country music everybody's like the whole thing is it tells a story, but I heard a story being told in hip hop when I heard that song, and it kind of opened my mind to like all the different ways that you can do it. And yeah, that's why that's my favorite song.
That's
Great, thank you.
never go wrong with those. Allison Saunders.
Hi. You're muted.
Oh, hi. So sorry. Thank you guys so much for being here and joining us. Curtis, you need to know that Stunning was the song of our summer. My roommates and I need to tell you that we actually rewrote our own lyrics to it one night for quarantine fun because
Wow, you gotta show me. I love those. That's how I started making music. I started writing characters.
Yeah, we quarantine activities trying to do something fun, and we were listening to your song and we're like, this is awesome, let's try to rewrite our own. And none of us
what was the rewrite about? What can you just give us like a little rundown?
Give us a taste.
And we can't do that much, so we were also going on lots of long car rides, and we would drive through like the different hills of Los Angeles. So we were driving through Bel Air, and we were listening to Stunnin', and we were like, Bel Air is so stunning. So it was like, go to Bel Air, it's stunning. And then we just continued like going through the different neighborhoods. I can damn you or whatever.
Every sign you pass, you say, so stunning.
All we see are Teslas and Range Rovers. But yeah, so I'm interested in working in the music industry. I actually graduate in a week, and I'm most interested in artist management and development. Thank you. So I'm wondering, how did you connect with your management, and what was important to you in finding and then working with the manager you have today?
You go first. I answered the last one by my first.
Okay. My manager is incredible. And I think what makes her such an incredible manager is she gives me a lot of room to like be who I am as an artist and figure stuff out. I think we've been working together for at least like 4 years now. But we met before that when I was even younger. Somebody at her company discovered me through like a YouTube video that I put up. Like I did a shitty like vertical iPhone 3 cover of Titanium by Sia playing the wrong guitar chords, and somebody thought that had potential and showed it to her. And a couple years later we ended up working together. But she's given me a lot of just like space to grow into whatever I want to be, and made it very clear to me that like we're working together because she believes in me, like as an artist, not necessarily as like for like a specific sound or a style, or like you check this box that I think is gonna make me a lot of money. It was like, I believe in your creative vision. You get to drive it. I'm going to surround you with the support that you need to make something out of it. And I think if you're trying to be an artist management or something like that, it's important to work with artists that you feel that way about. Because I hope, haven't made her a lot of money so far, but we've had a great time. And I will someday soon. But I think you're just going to get more out of it. And it's, speaking from an artist perspective, I think it's the most fair thing to the artist to work with them because you really believe in them and their vision, not because you think you know everything that's best and you're going to tell them who they are. My manager never tells me who I am or who I should be. She supports where I'm at and helps me make it better.
I agree. Also, yeah, I met my manager just this year, and he found me through a song on SoundCloud. I didn't really have many plays at the time yet, but he saw the vision. It wasn't even stunning. It was a song called Freckles, and I think what stood out to me was like he cared about the deep cuts. You know, he cared about the stuff that I'm like, this is just a notebook to me. You know what I mean? Like he really listened to my album. He really held on to certain lyrics that I'm like, wow, you care. Like it's not just a hit. But outside of just like the fact that it's, you know, I think first of all, you have to trust this person and you have to trust that they know, like they want what's best for you. You know what I mean? And he's never told me to make any type of song. He's never told me to be a certain way. So I trust that. But another thing is like, I also can't just have someone that trusts me and loves me. They also got to know the business. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a business relationship. And my manager knows it for sure. You know what I mean? Like I never have to worry that he's slacking in the business department. And I know for a fact that I could be in my studio making the best song possible and he'll take care of what he needs to take care of. You know what I mean? Because I mean, there's a lot of people that might understand your music and might love you, but they might just not be good managers. They might just be great fans too. You know what I mean? But I think you got to know at the end of the day, it is still like a business relationship. And I mean, I just trust that we both, like, we're just a great team. I feel like, you know what I mean? I do what I need to do. He does what he needs to do. And also he lets me do what I need to do. He's never dictating anything for me, you know? So that's really good for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, next we got Ruth.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Hi, thank you guys so much for talking to us. I know it's just like crazy right now, and the fact you took out time is like really awesome. So thank you. This might be a little weirder of a question, but what is the industry looking like in Nashville right now? Because I know the music industry is very social and you need to be networking and going out, and people usually like meet each other just out and about and things like that. Because things are online and because so many studios are closed or things like that are going on, like what have you seen change, and what are some positives and what are some negatives to that? And I guess this could go for pretty much anywhere, Nashville to LA, New York, literally anywhere. But what have you noticed?
I mean, Nashville is such, and like you said, like everywhere with the music industry is like this, but it's such a social, like networking, it's all about who you know type of town, which truly has never been my favorite part of it. As just like a very like creative, awkward artist and also an introvert. I never loved that part where it's like, all right, you gotta go show up here so that you can run into this person who like you should know because it would help you in your career. Like it doesn't feel very authentic to me and I've never been great at it. So I've enjoyed kind of the pressure of networking being taken off in a certain way and just kind of getting to live in my little creative bubble and not feel bad about it. I think it's been good. I think kind of like Curtis touched on before, or what I said, it's forced a lot of people to be more self-sufficient with their music. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think it'll be the same if the world ever goes remotely back to normal, I think it's kind of forced the people who have that strong foundation, who can rely on their little bubble, to work a little bit harder. I don't know. Yeah, that's been the biggest thing. You can't network, so your music has to be good.
I don't know shit. I've always just been in my room. I do not know. Nothing.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous of that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
All right, awesome. Okay, we're gonna take these last 3 questions, and then I don't want to keep you guys too long, so we're just gonna end it after. It'll be Sean, Austin, and then we'll end it off with Tom. So Sean, you want to go first?
Hey guys, so I want to say thank you too for coming here. I appreciate it a lot. I just want to say, Curtis, I really appreciate you because you make your own music, which is very inspiring to me. So I think that's dope. And my question is, like, how do you guys know when a song is done? Like, because you guys kind of talked about demos and stuff. Like, is it the label, or like, do you guys just like, this is the song I want to put out? That's what I'm really curious about. So yeah.
I think for me is like, once I start ruining shit, once I start like, because I have a notes, right? And I write all the notes down, and I write the notes down. And once I start adding notes and I'm making changes and I listen to different versions, and I'm like, okay, I'm just ruining it at this point. I gotta chill out. You know what I mean? But like, if I listen to it fully and I don't feel insecure, or if I'm like showing it to someone and there's no other changes, then I'm like, okay, it's probably done. I don't really ever wait around for a label or anyone to tell me. Like, I don't even wait for like a manager usually. Like, I send it to him when my shit is done. But I don't know how other people work usually.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I definitely have the final call when my stuff's done. I'm not going to let something go out that I'm not like proud of. At least it's similar for me, but like, I never feel like it's done. Which, Curtis, like you said, like, you're always kind of going in and like, well, I could change this. Like, let me just go re-sing that line one more time. Like, no, maybe if we fuck with the bass line a little bit, it'll be better. And it's when you just, that could never end. Like, it could continue going, but it's when you do that and no one else is really noticing the changes. Yeah. It's just me going in circles in my mind. Then it's kind of like, I need to let this go. Like, the song gets to a point where it just kind of has this like magic.
Yeah.
And I'm very careful to make any more changes when it gets there. Even if there is a couple parts that I hear and I'm like, oh, do I want to change it? Sometimes you just got to let it go and be like, nope, it hits this way. Like, people are resonating with it this way. I like the song. Like, I'm gonna just let it go. I'll still listen to stuff that like I've released, had mixed and mastered now, that I'm like, oh, that's how I wanted to sing it, huh? Okay, cool. I would recut that vocal now if I could, but I can't. So I'm gonna just let it go. And it matters to nobody besides myself.
And sometimes I feel like when you try to over perfect shit, it gets worse. Cause like for me, I look at Stunning and I blew up, right? And I listen to it, I'm like, wow. Like, I can tell I did this in one take, and I can tell I was just having fun with it. And you can tell sometimes, like, whether it was a product of super precise cutting and blah, 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 or it was just like someone having fun in their room. And most likely people just want to hear somebody having fun in their room, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe not in their room, maybe in the studio, whatever. But for me, it's like, you know, like Lil Pump songs are huge. I don't think he was spending like 40 hours a day, like, okay, that doesn't make sense. But, you know, like, whatever, just writing all this stuff. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's like, you got to know when enough is enough. And the thing that really helps is just like showing people and how you deal with it. Yeah.
For sure.
That's awesome. I love that. I also want 40 hours a day. Can you like actually find a way to make that happen, please? Austin, you're up.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, thanks for coming. And I loved everything you guys had to say so far. My question is kind of directed towards Curtis about production, but maybe feel free to add on if you want. I was just curious if you guys had any, I guess, go-to steps you tackle first in like the songwriting process. Like, do you guys usually go to like the bass line first, or like start with drums, or maybe instrumental? And is it like a set pattern, or does it like change up? And I guess also, what are some of the most unique kind of like aha moments you've had during songwriting, if any?
For me, how I make a song is, I mean, I'm sure she could say it too because she songwrites, so I feel like that would make sense for her too. But for me, it's like I'll start with chords usually, or I'll play something on the guitar, and I might add like really simple shitty drums real quick. I don't even care. I'll put on headphones and I have these mic or whatever, and I will put on autotune and I will just mumble the shittiest, horrible melody ever. No words. I'll just freestyle the whole song. And you'll hear it back. And my brother will be like, what the fuck is this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're saying no words. You're saying spaghetti for 3 minutes in different pitches. But to me, it's like, yes, I know exactly how it's going to sound. You know what I mean? And I listen to that on a loop and I actually build the beat around that little spaghetti mumble melodic idea I have or whatever. And then, oh man, I would love to show you this because every song I have exports of this is the mumble. And then I have the final song when I add lyrics, but I don't wait. So once I have these chords down and I love it and I have a groove going, I get the flow down. Cause for me, it's like melody and flow is the most important part of the song, and lyrics you just add afterwards cause it has to have meaning, right? But I do that. Then I might add words. Then you can always change the beat around wherever, but do not get hung up on little parts and little mixing, mastering, that kind of stuff. Just go for it. Like as when the inspiration is going, just make the whole song, mumble random melodies, make sure it's catchy first, you know. That's for me. But
yeah, I've worked with
I feel like you have stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. It's really similar for me actually. Like usually starts with chords, like just finding chords that I like. And then I like that you said like melody and flow really is the most important because like we're creative, emotional people. Like there's no shortage of like content in our brains to write about. So for me, it's a lot of just like, what are chords that I like? What's a melody and a flow that sounds good? And then what do I have in my head and my heart that fits this vibe that I'm in? Because I've got something going on in here. It's a mess. Like I'll find words for this melody. But I've worked with producers and stuff that have spent the whole session like fucking with the beat, like just trying to find the right hi-hat to put in there. And like then like I'll have 10 minutes to cut like a decent vocal and like I'll be like doing like the writing of the song and get that down, and they're just like fucking with that part, and I'll play for my team and nobody cares. Like, cause like we didn't get the chords right, or I didn't get enough takes to like get the flow of the vocal the way I wanted it to. And so, I mean, now I'm very particular about that. And I'm like, yo, like you don't have to fuck with the track so much. Just like, let me run this back over and over and do the mumble thing and make sure like I set in stone the parts of the song that matter. But yeah, when it comes to like the writing process, getting caught up in those details, usually when it comes to like showing people the song and deciding if it's something that you want to like finish and show to other people, it doesn't really make a difference at all.
Another thing I started a new aha moment you said was I never played instruments growing up, but I finally got a guitar. Yo, like I don't know how to play, but I learned about open D, and you can do that shit with like one finger. So you can play like all like pop punk chords. You can do all this stuff, right? So I'll literally be up like 3 a.m, sleepy as hell, like laying on the floor, and I'll play like three bass lines, like 3-note bass line, and I'll make a whole song then and there. You know what I mean? So just having that around, like you don't have to have your computer open. That's been really helpful because I'll wake up the next morning. I might add drums. I might do all that other kind of stuff. But, you know, you never know when you want to make music, right? When an idea comes. So, you know, that's been really helpful too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right. And last but not least, we got Tom. It's all you.
What's up, guys? My name's Tom. I'm the Sony music rep for UCLA, so I kind of have a glimpse on what Colby's going into with all of this. So I have one question. I actually have 2 questions. How have you liked working with a major record label so far? And then what was like the key factor that made you want to decide to move from independent labels to like major record labels like Warner?
Oh yeah, for me, well, I'm with 300 Records, and that's my only label now. And they were even they're definitely still not like the biggest record label out there, but they definitely have notoriety, and they were even smaller when I signed with them. I just thought it was cool that I was like signing with the same label as Fetty Wap at the time. I was like, this is dope. I feel pretty cool about this. I'm gonna go with them. And I made the choice because honestly, like truly, it was the best option I had at the moment. Like the opportunity came to me kind of by chance, and I didn't have a super solid catalog of songs, and these people were coming to me and saying like, we believe in we believe in you as an artist. We like your personality, your vibe. We think you're going to go places. We think you have like a long career in this, a future. They honestly weren't very caught up in the music that I was making right in that moment, which right in the moment was kind of like, yeah, but I have hit songs, right? Like, you like the hit song. I didn't have hit songs. I didn't have shit, but they liked me. And I thought that was a really good sign. And they've proven it over and over again that they really believe in me wholly as an artist versus like one song or one moment. And it's always kind of like, where are you at in your journey, and how can we like present that to the world? And I don't know what other people's experiences have been with big labels. I feel like mine's been a little bit unique in the fact that I have a ton of freedom and support. They're not very stingy with what they let me do or don't do. They want me to be happy as an artist. And similar to what I said about my manager, they kind of believe in my vision, and they come around it and they make it something. So that's been my experience.
Yeah. For me, well, I have a licenseship deal with BMG, so I'm not like signed to a major label technically, but for me, it hasn't been that different from when I wasn't doing anything with anybody. It's like, I'm here in my room, I finish a song, and I either make the artwork or I get my friends to do the artwork, and then I send it off. And then sometimes they'll make like canvases for me, and it's very like, I appreciate the help and stuff, but for the most part, I've kept it pretty like just DIY, you know. And they don't tell me what songs to release, they don't tell me what videos. Like, there's really, like, I come up with it, I tell my manager, hey, I think we should do this, and then we'll be like, okay, let's do it, and we'll do it. It's not that different for me. It's a very lucky situation.
Yeah, it's nice that they give you so much freedom too, and so much like creative say in everything that you guys are doing. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's been the coolest part for me. Is I've talked to other people on different like major labels, and they own you as an artist, and you don't get the final say. And that just really hasn't been my experience at all. It's been like, this is my project, and I can be involved in whatever part of it I want to. So that's important, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tom, did you have a second question? Right?
Nope, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, I think it's our last question. So then, just to kind of round it out, do you guys have any advice that you would like to give all of us students, as you know, we're hoping to get to where you guys are or be somewhere in the industry?
Yeah.
Curtis, if you want to start, Bailey, you want to start?
I guess I'll go, bro. Like, just keep trying, just keep like learning shit, like study everything. Like, you'll see a song blow up, like figure out why it blew up. You'll see something work out, figure out why it worked out. Reverse engineer that shit. Try it out. You might fail. It doesn't fucking matter. Make a new song next week. Try it out. It doesn't matter. Just keep failing. Just keep doing it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. One day it'll work out, and you'll be like, oh, it worked out. Just keep going. It's not that deep. Doesn't matter if you fail. Doesn't matter if your shit flop. Nobody actually cares as much as you do. And bro, like, I bet you like Drake has taken so many L's. You know what I mean? Also, another thing is, watch interviews. Like, I love watching artist interviews so much. I watch so many artist interviews. I eat that shit up. That's all I do all day. And like, just learn. Like, you're gonna lose. You're gonna take L's. You're gonna flop, and that's totally fine. It's not as embarrassing as it seems. And if anybody makes you feel like that's embarrassing, it's because they're fucking insecure and they're not gonna do shit with their lives. So it's totally fine. Just keep doing it, and you'll win eventually. It's like the lottery. Just keep fucking spinning. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, my advice would be similar to what you said. Nobody cares as much as you do. Like, nobody's gonna care as much as you do until you're Drake or Meg the Stallion or whoever. Like, I hear a lot of people, and I've gotten caught up in this mindset too at times. Like, people are so scared to like make a move or put anything out or promote their shit or take any steps forward because they're like, am I ready? Is the song ready? Are people gonna like it? Like, I don't know if it's good enough. Like, what if it flops? Like, that kind of thing. Like, if it flops, like, nobody cared to begin with because you didn't have anything out. So what's the worst thing that could happen? You're gonna be exactly where you are right now, but you tried, and then it's not as scary when you try and you can keep trying. And there's just no formula. I feel like a broken record on this, but I've encountered a lot of people that try and make it seem like there's rules to this shit. Like, there's going to be people bullshitting their way through that try and make you seem like you got to follow their plan for you, or just the way that people present themselves and the way they do things is like, I came up with this 10-step program for success, and you're going to have to do what I did if you want to make it. Like, there's no rules. There's really not. Like, and therefore, like, there's no excuses to not just like put your shit out there and make your own way. You don't really have to be worried about being like, you're going to be embarrassed if you do something different or something wrong. Like, there is no wrong. It's all subjective. It's all art and creativity and like the Wild West, basically, of the music industry. So yeah, essentially what Curtis said, just keep trying. Like, you have no reason not to.
Also, I have to remind myself this. Don't think you're too cool to promote your shit. Don't think you're too cool to do this.
Yes.
That. Like, you have to do that shit, bro. Like, you have to care if you want other people to care, you know?
And it's okay to care. Like, that's cool. Nobody's gonna, when you're like, nobody gives a shit about your music anyway, like, you don't look cool, like, being another person on the list of people that doesn't give a shit about what you're doing. Like, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah, you should.
That's great. I have to tell myself that too. That's real.
Yeah, all the shit I'm saying to you, that it's not like I know the answer. This is shit that I remind myself every day. Yeah. I'm not like being here like I'm the master of this. Like, this is shit I have to say every day to me.
Like, this is my advice for
Master Curtis and Master Bailey. So that was amazing advice, guys. And I know everybody here is appreciated. My phone is blowing up with everybody saying that you guys are super dope and cool and that they really appreciated it. So thank you so much for just everything that you've said this entire time, for staying with us for so long. It means the absolute world to me. It means the absolute world to everybody here. So yeah, and thank you, UCLA Music Industry Committee and Warner Music U, for hosting this. It was so much fun. And of course, you guys are the best. We love you all the time.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun to talk to people my age. I only really talk to my parents now because I live at home and it's quarantine. So it's nice to see like fresh meat.
Oh, I love it. Hey, we're always here.
I was freestyling. That was a weird thing to say. Okay.
Hey, we're always here. If you ever want to talk to like this group, you can always can. Like, message me. I'll show you all of it. I love
if anybody's here.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye.